You can be working on your creative business every single week, posting, making, trying things, and still nothing feels like it's actually moving forward. And it's not always obvious what needs fixing either. Most of the time, it's that you're missing the bigger picture of how it's all meant to fit together. None of it's put in the right order for us, and that is what I wish I'd understood earlier. So today, I'm sharing my roadmap, the 4 phases of launching a creative business this year, and exactly what I would do if I was doing the whole thing over again today. So this video is the no fluff version of what I've spent the last 6 years learning the hard way. 2 YouTube channels, 1 rebrand, 3 kids, and a lot of stuff I genuinely wish someone had told me sooner. To me, there are 4 phases, and each one builds on the last, and each one does something different for your business. And stick with me till the end, because phase 4 is the one that most creators skip, and it's the one that actually decides whether your creative business is gonna last long term. So if you're watching this, chances are you're an artist or a maker or someone who just really loves creating, and that's probably why you've started this in the first place. You wanted to spend your days making things, not performing online or strategizing, just making. And if you caught last week's video, you'll know that I talked about the shift that we have to make from being an artist who happens to post online sometimes to being a content creator who happens to make art. And I know for a lot of you that reframe is really uncomfortable or unwanted because you didn't get into this to become a content creator. You got into this to be an artist. But honestly, things are really different now than they were even 5-10 years ago. The gallery only path doesn't work like it used to. And if you want this to be a proper career, not a hobby, but an actual career, something has to shift. You have to be willing to show up online. And look, I am not talking about hustle, post every day until you burn out type of content creator. I'm talking about building content into your workflow in a way that genuinely works with your life, with your family, your creative time, and just juggling the day-to-day. So that is the roadmap that I want to show you today. Start showing up. So phase 1, this is the get your stuff together phase. And it's the simplest one, but it's also the one that trips most people up. Here's all you need to do in phase 1. Pick a platform and start posting. That is it. Not all the platforms, maybe just 1 or 2 to begin with. Once you've become consistent and feel good about the workload, only then should you expand to other platforms. And then you just start. No doubt the first videos that you make will feel cringy. Like, you'll likely get just a handful of likes or views, but the goal isn't to be good yet. The point is to build that habit of showing up and taking messy action. So my art channel, Fizz and Flourish, actually grew fairly quickly once I got going, but the Creative Juice Club, this channel you're watching right now, is growing even faster. And I truly believe the reason that this channel got monetized in just 12 uploads is because I'd already spent years making content. And this time I actually put everything I'd learned into practice. I took messy action, I improved, I listened to my audience, and I doubled down on what worked. And that is what's made this channel grow. And that is what I recommend you start with too, taking action. So if you're in that stage right now where you're posting and nothing's really happening, please hear me on this one. The reward for phase 1 isn't sales. It's the skill set that makes phase 2, 3, and 4 possible. And here is the little secret about phase 1. If you can use your content as an excuse to work on the actual art itself, like a process video that forces you to finish a painting, or a vlog that gets you into the studio when you don't really feel like it, to me, that is a win-win. Creating content is a form of accountability. And when it's done right, phase 1 pulls you towards your craft, not away from it. I don't know if you can tell, but my voice is really crackly. It's been the school holidays, there's been a lot of noise, and I need a coffee. So phase 2 is finding your edge. Okay, this is where a lot of people get stuck. You might be sat there thinking, what is even the point? There's already thousands of creators doing what I'm trying to do. And you're right, there are thousands, but there's only one you. So phase 2 is where you stop copying and start choosing. You work out what makes you specifically worth following. So there's a thing they say in marketing, you can either be the first, the best, or different. First is basically impossible now. The best takes years and is really subjective, but different is actually achievable because everyone is unique, especially when it comes to something like creativity. For me, different looked like this. I didn't want to just post process videos and studio vlogs like a lot of people in the art space. I wanted to talk about the actual business of being a creative, the numbers, the systems, the strategy, and my art channel Fizz and Flourish wasn't really the space for that anymore, which is why I ended up starting the Creative Juice Club podcast and then eventually this channel. But let's say you genuinely do want to focus on process videos and studio vlogs. There's nothing wrong with that niche. Your uniqueness is going to show up in your art style, in the way you film and the stories you tell, your voice, your pace, your opinions, your sense of humor, all of those things that make your journey yours and nobody else's. And that's your job in phase 2. It's working out what makes you unique, not by having to figure out a gap in the market, but understanding that your art style or your angle only has your unique way of doing it. Because once you can see your own edge clearly, you stop trying to be like everyone else and you start growing the thing that only you can build. Now, before I get into phase 3, I want to mention something very briefly because it becomes really relevant the moment you hit the next phase. So phase 3 is when you start layering income streams on top of each other, like product sales, brand partnerships, digital offers, affiliate income, and you genuinely need a system that can hold all of that together. And every system that I tried building before I made my own was either way too corporate, too spreadsheety, or just a blank canvas that expected me to build the whole thing from scratch. And none of them were built for how my creative brain and visual way of thinking actually works. And that is why I built Artova. So most platforms give you the tools and then leave you to build the system. Artova gives you that system already built, ready to use, and designed for visual thinkers and creative brains, not for spreadsheets. So it just works from the moment you log in. And there's now a 7-day free trial with full access. I shall leave the link in the description below if you want to have a nosy. Okay, back to phase 3. Build the income layers. This is the money phase, and I'm not going to go really deep here because I just made a whole video on this exact topic last week, and I'll leave it in the description so you can go deep on that after this video. But I do want to land on the mindset shift because this is where most creatives get stuck. So most makers treat their art as the primary income stream, and then everything else, things like ads, affiliate, digital products, brand deals, they're like the little nice extra on top. So when product sales drop, which they do at different points of the year, people panic. They work harder, they make more stuff, and they burn out. So phase 3 is where you flip that thinking. You start treating your content as the income engine and you let it unlock the layers of income underneath it. So product sales, platform monetization, AdSense, ad slots, brand partnerships, your own digital offers like courses, memberships, templates, guides, affiliate income from the tools and products that you genuinely use. There's so many different layers to content creation, and you don't need all 5 at once. You need 2 or 3 doing real work with the others ticking over in the background. So that is how you get to the point where one slow sales month doesn't send you spiraling. So this phase is about building the kind of infrastructure on purpose, slowly and sustainably with a system that holds it all together. So if phase 3 is where you're stuck right now, last week's video partners really well with this phase. So phase 4, expand and compound. This is the one I really don't want you to skip because this is the one that actually makes the whole creative business last long term. The hard truth about where we build our audience is that you don't own these platforms. You don't own YouTube or Instagram. They can change their algorithm tomorrow, change the rules, change the monetization rates, change who sees what. So phase 4 is about cementing everything you've built in phases 1, 2, and 3 into something that lasts. And the single most important piece of that is an email list. I know everyone bangs on about email lists and it probably sounds a bit boring and you're probably tired of hearing about it, but please hear me out on this. An email list is a direct line to the people who genuinely care about your work. It moves with you. So if YouTube was down tomorrow, I could email my mailing list and they would still be there. Every single person on that list is someone that you can reach without relying on a platform. That's really valuable, and it only gets more valuable as you grow. If I could go back and tell past me one single thing, it would be to start my email list on day one. Not in phase 3, but on day 1. And before you switch off, phase 4 isn't just about the email list. It's also about expanding out into your wider creative community. So this is when you start collaborating with other makers or pitching yourself for interviews or features or the media. You start showing up in places where you can reach new people who'd never find you on the main platform that you've been posting to. You stop thinking of your career as one thing and start thinking of it as a proper ecosystem. And what I love the most about this phase is that the creators who make it here almost always have more time for their actual creative work than they did in phase 1 because they've got systems running. Their email list is warming new viewers up every single week without you having to do anything or be posting every day because you've built something that no longer relies on you being available 24/7. And to me, that is the whole point. That is what we're building towards. So that is my roadmap. 4 phases. Start showing up, find your edge, build those income streams, and expand and compound. So please don't think that you need to be doing all of this by next Tuesday. You don't. I'm all about building sustainably, and this roadmap works best over years, not weeks, and everyone moves through it at their own pace. Some of you are already in phase 2 and hadn't even realized. So pick whatever phase you're in right now and just take one next step. That's how this actually gets built. One intentional move at a time, stacked over years, until one day you look up and realize you've built something incredible. And if you're ready to actually get this level of building into an organization system that works for the way our creative brains do, then head over to Artova.io and check out the free trial. And if you want to go deeper on phase 3, how to turn your content into the income engine underneath all of this, go and watch this video next. It's the full deep dive on phase 3. Just click here to watch.